Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading edge topics, along with special guests to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat. Raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Start speaking, buddy.
All right, welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda by verifying the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at techtimeradio.com. Tweet us during the show at hashtag TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to the tweets on the air. If you enjoy the show, make sure you give it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast replay service you may use. I'm your host, a technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, working with Fortune 500 companies across the country, and my co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author. Originally from Arizona, Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike's here to help me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Tech Time's Best of the Best from CES continues our 3-part series. This is the final part of that, which we are going to be talking about laptops, phones, and displays. We're going to focus on the newest ideas on technology items that we use daily. And we have our Super Bowl TV shopping guide out. Now, this is what everybody looks forward to. These are the best deals. And let me just tell you, I was looking through all these deals last night and this morning, and there are some great discounts. We're going to be telling you where you can buy the best television for the Super Bowl to watch or just to have for the upcoming year in itself. Then, of course, we have our top stories, which we're going to be talking about cybercrime. Did you know it's the world's 3rd largest economy?
I think we've talked about that many times.
We're going to be talking about that
all the time.
We do. We got Microsoft had a service outage. And you know what? We're going to be talking about how a company essentially lays off 12% of employees and decides that they will use ChatGPT for content creation. Are you still going to listen to it? Are you going to watch it? Are you going to read it? We'll find out. And of course, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment this week in technology and a possible Nathan Nugget. We also have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick of the day gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm.
Well, you're trying to run away from that, aren't you?
That's right. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
Story number 1, cybercrime is the world's third largest economy after the U.S. and China. Cybersecurity Ventures released a new report claiming cybercrime will cost the world $8 trillion in 2023. $8 trillion. That's paid out to
This
that.
is an industry.
This is a full-time industry. We have some audio extracts from that release that we want to share with you now.
Global cybercrime damage is predicted to hit $10.5 trillion annually by 2025. If it were measured as a country, then cybercrime, which is predicted to inflict damages totaling $8 trillion globally in 2023, would be the world's third largest economy after the US and China. This represents the greatest transfer of economic wealth in history, risks the incentives for innovation and investment, is exponentially larger than the damage inflicted from natural disasters in a year, and will be more profitable than the global trade of all major illegal drugs combined.
How's that for crime not paying?
That's right. Cybercrime costs include damage, the destruction of data, stolen money, lost productivity, theft of intellectual property, theft of personal and financial data, embezzlement, fraud, post-attack disruption to the normal course of business, forensic investigations, restoration and deletion of hacked data and system, and reputation harm. Now, just talking about this, cybercrime is growing industry. It will continue to grow. Did you know that the U.S. fly list, with over 1.5 million records of banned flyers in the United States and upwards to 250,000 selectees, which means the United States government is watching these individuals when they travel, has been shared publicly on hacking forums?
No.
Yes. So now, if I wanted to see who was on the no-fly list, now
why would you care? I mean, really,
I probably not care a whole lot, but you can take a look at who the United States considers maybe a foreign enemy or somebody that they consider a person of interest, right?
That's true, but that
I wish you could add somebody to it.
Is they were misbehaving.
That's right. That's right. Well, Bleeping Computers has confirmed the list is the same exact list as the no-fly list. What's funny is that most businesses, though, are looking at ways to cut IT spending in 2023 as companies are looking at cost-cutting initiatives across the IT space after the COVID-19 pandemic. They're reducing workforces.
Yeah, this is all part and parcel to the whole pandemic scare, and it's only natural that we want to try and go back to a normal existence that we had pre-pandemic.
So the survey of top 500 business companies in the United States came on back. 85% of them said that either they want to cut IT spending, specifically targeting security, because either A, they were still hacked, so it was insignificant is what they say, or they were the lucky individuals that were not hacked, so they don't think that it was worth the money spent.
I'm not sure where the disconnect is happening here, but there's an obvious problem that is being addressed at this point, and I'm sure that cutting spending on IT security is the way to go.
No, I had a fan send us an email, and it was an article that was published on MSN, and essentially the article, I read it, and I think there's some great validity to the article in itself, but essentially it says in the next 2 years that we are going to have a major attack specifically against the United States that they say is going to bring down most of the Fortune 500 companies all at the same time.
Okay.
So when that happens, we can say, well, hey, we did it. We talked about it here on Tech. I think that could happen. Absolutely.
This is exactly the same thing as living in the circle of fire.
Okay.
Right? You know what that is, right?
No, explain that to me.
That's where these volcanoes are across the world.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we live right next to a volcano.
We do.
Right? Mount Rainier right there. We also live in a subduction zone.
We live in like an earthquake area that will just disappear.
We live in a place where an earthquake is slated to happen sometime soon.
Yep.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, no, isn't that exciting?
This is part and parcel to the human condition right here. Look, there's this huge tidal wave of IT security nightmares coming. Oh,
let's cut money.
Out of that so we can
see how we
can
save.
focus on other stuff.
So we can spend it on marketing and sales.
Let's do that.
All right, Mike, you got story number 2 here.
Well, it's funny that we were talking about money and stuff like that. Do you know what BuzzFeed is?
I did not know what BuzzFeed was until last night.
Which I found very not surprising, but funny.
Okay. All right.
Because I know you're not a big reader.
I'm not a big reader.
BuzzFeed is, I wouldn't call a literary giant by any means, but they do have all these little
nuggets of
content.
information. Sure.
They're one of these
So it's kind of like Entertainment Tonight.
There's one of these major producers of entertainment content, right?
Yep.
Well, they have joined the bandwagon and laid off 12% of their workforce.
Okay.
And they have decided to use the AI-generated chatbot that you have been lauding the last few weeks.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yeah.
To pick up where they left off. So I think I was talking about this when we first brought this up.
Yeah.
Right? That this is just an excuse for replacing the workforce. It essentially is another way that technology has devalued the human person. It's made more
and these stories
complex.
are not going to be that good though, right? I mean, I don't think they're going to be as good because what happens when you use ChatGPT is it gives these high big words that make no sense.
Well, I don't know about that because when I read this stuff, I read it from somebody who's a writer, right?
Okay.
So I can see, well, this seems very lame. Why did they put this here? But to somebody who's just feeding their not necessarily their intellectual need, but feeding their need for information, they're just going to scan over it anyway.
Okay.
So,
so is this going to work for BuzzFeed, do you think?
Anyway, yeah, and in an effort to reduce expenses, BuzzFeed announced its layoff of 12% of personnel in early December. Recently in a memo, CEO John Peretti shared his intentions on using AI to play a larger part in the company's editorial and commercial operations. The 12% of personnel comes to around 180 employees. I know that doesn't make a whole dent against some of these other companies that we've talked about. But again, they're doing it in order to reduce. They're doing it in order to
reduce expense,
make more money.
Yeah. Right.
As the newest digital publisher to adopt artificial intelligence, BuzzFeed would rely on ChatGPT maker OpenAI to improve its quizzes and tailor some material for its audiences. Jonah Peretti, the company's chief executive, stated the intention for AI to play a larger part in the company's editorial and commercial operations this year was sent out in a note to staff. I don't know if that happened before or after the layoff.
I think it was after the layoff.
It might have been, but I'm pretty sure they had this in mind.
In their back of their mind when they did this?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, well, we still need to put out all its content.
Okay.
According to the memo, AI will help the creative process improve the company's content, with people serving as sources of inspiration, ideas, and cultural currency, quote unquote. He predicted that rather than just curating current information, AI and data would help produce, personalize, and animate the content itself in 15 years. So we were talking about this. Well, we were arguing about this last night about how it's this insignificant thing, or it seems like an insignificant thing now, but the more improvements these people put into this, the bigger it grows and the more it's going to affect the things that we see and do. And
that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
So,
and we kind of talked about it when I first moved into the technology area. I used to solder on system boards, right? I mean, that was what I did. Soldered system boards, computer chips. You would have to actually burn the EEPROM chips in these burners. You would actually load a code, and then you would put it in this chip deal to burn it, and then you'd put it into the computer, the 286s back in the day. You'd have to make sure all the pins were there. You'd have to do SIP memory, which were pins that were essentially solder joints.
So you did this manual tech stuff. What about it?
But now I don't do any of that because system boards all have surface mounts nowadays, and I can still be in the technology field. I just had to adapt.
You have evolved as a technologist.
Yes.
Well, when you're a creative and you're writing, it's hard to evolve into different areas. You evolve into better writing. That's kind of how that works.
Okay.
But
I don't think ChatGPT is going to get the writing part down.
I don't know.
My Choose Your Own Adventure book is not going to be that great.
It's still something that challenges all of the things that we talk about in how the technology can be used in a way that devalues human beings, and it also shows us the problem with human beings.
Oh, that makes sense. Now, story number 3, still talking about AI. You remember we talked last week about CES's Joshua Browder. He created an artificial intelligence startup company called Do Not Pay. And we talked about it as a big highlight at CES 2023. He was really excited because he was going to be able to use his technology in an upcoming court case.
Yes, it's the AI lawyer.
That's right. Well, let's roll the audio and see what happened.
Joshua Browder, CEO of Do Not Pay. It's a AI app for legal services that has the ability to listen to court arguments in real time. And the app was supposed to argue for someone in court next month for a speeding ticket. That isn't happening anymore. As you heard, he's being threatened by lawyers. Joshua is with us. So help us understand what's happened and why the app is no longer going to argue this case.
The lawyers have chased the robot out of the courtroom. When I started tweeting about this case a few weeks ago, and lawyers were just going crazy. All these state bars said, if you go through with this, we're going to prosecute you. We're going to refer you to the district attorney, and you could get up to 6 months in jail.
How interesting.
So it's interesting. So
AI lawyers aren't going to happen anytime soon because the lawyers know what to do. They're not out there defending the people who are losing their jobs for the AI chatbot, but they are really
they're saving their jobs though.
They got their jobs.
So essentially, they sent letters. Tons of legal defense attorneys put a bunch of letters together, wrote them to the states. One of them was California. It was supposed to have the first AI legal defense in California on February 22nd, but essentially Browder said, forget it. I am not going to put it in because there's a whole litigation where if he's representing a legal firm and the person loses, they can then sue and they can get into a whole bunch of different areas.
As I talked about this last week, there's a lot more dynamics in a courtroom that we aren't privy to normally, because I have an education that's partly in this realm. I kind of understand it. But yeah, you're right. If you have first off, if you have this piece of technology and you're using it for your case and you lose, guess what my first thing is going to be?
You're going to sue
I'm going to go
technology.
Yep. Because this is not a lawyer.
Correct.
And they've made some sort of guarantee or something. They've promoted this as this thing.
Now remember, Nick was all for this, right? I mean, Nick was like, he was so excited about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is one of the ways which AI can do things that people have difficulty doing. Because this thing,
it can memorize all the laws.
This thing has all the laws available to it, so it can pick out the laws that work for or against the case that you're working on.
Yep.
And it can do it faster than the law student,
or anybody going through any
paralegal or the lawyer.
It has to flip through the books because lawyers don't really prepare any of the way. It's all paralegals and assistants.
Right. They argue the case. So,
correct.
Yeah. It's not a surprise that this backlash happened.
So Do Not Pay is under investigation by multiple state bars, including California.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that
now they're under investigation too.
And then they have to get past things like the judges
allowing them to do that,
and this is while it seems like a really cool idea.
Yep.
Well, it's not.
It's not. Okay. All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Coming up, we have Tech Time's best of the best from CES 2023. We're going to be covering laptops, phones, and displays. It's our final 3-part review for CES 2023. You're not going to want to miss this segment at all. We're going to be back in a moment. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for Tech Time Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing. But you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time Radio is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and now we have Mark Gregoire in studio to tell us what we are sipping in our pick of the day. Today, what have we chosen, Mark?
Today is Bullet Bourbon Barrel Strength.
Oh, okay. Tell us a little bit about this.
All right. So the company that produces this, Diego, they're a British multinational company. It's distilled in
Louisiana?
No, it's Kentucky.
Louisville.
Thank you. By Bullet Distilling Company. That's one of those words I struggle with. It's a straight bourbon.
Phonics.
Oh, man. You're putting me down in Nathan's area. Thanks so much there, Mike.
Okay, keep on going.
Right.
What is the whiskey? Tell us about it.
Proof, 120.2 proof. The mash bill is 68% corn, 28% rye, and 4 malted barley, and it's $49.95.
Wow.
Now, according to Bullet's website, Bullet Bourbon Strength is a barrel strength version of their Bullet Bourbon with the same high rye mash bill. The Bullet Barrel Strength is medium amber in color with a gentle spiciness and sweet oak aromas. The mild palate is smooth with tones of maple, oak, and nutmeg. The finish is long, dry, and satiny with a light toffee flavor and with deepening oak notes.
I taste the oak notes.
I enjoyed the finish.
You like the finish?
I didn't like the initial.
You didn't like the
burn,
it is
that's
a
that
quick
rye burn that I don't like anyway.
It's always tough when the high bourbon's the very first sip you take.
Yeah.
So you got to take a few sips and then your palate adjusts.
And it might be because I'm sipping out of a coffee cup.
Yeah, and you can't really see that medium amber color today, can you?
No. Why am I drinking out of a coffee cup?
All right. Well, thank you very much for
All
talking
right.
about that. All right. That is the whiskey we've chosen. We'll either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, Mr. Gourdet, and then we'll get a little bit of, I'm sure, Mark's mumble. I can't wait to hear what we got going on.
I'll be back for that.
All right. Well, now that we got our whiskey out of the way, let's start our next segment. Tech Time's best of the best from CES 2023 laptops, phones, and displays.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right. Our CES 2023 laptops. So we got so many to look at, but so few to report on. So let me just tell you, the CES is just laptop. Everybody nowadays makes a laptop. So we get that out of the way. So if you want a laptop and you cannot find a laptop, then you...
Why is that? Is laptops replacing the desktop?
It has. So you know, the desktop used to be the ultra power unit that was there, but now that Intel and AMD both have come up with processors, and Apple with their silicon based processors, you now have processors that can run in smaller, lighter units that can essentially do the same work as a big desktop. Now, you can't have a lot of video adapter cards still, which is a limit of a desktop, but everybody essentially uses a laptop as their primary PC or a tablet as their primary PC for everything they do. I mean,
that's true. I do.
I do all the time here. This is what I use each week for our show when I put things together.
It does make it hard when my gaming computer can't support the
video drivers. It does make us, and that's still kind of a market. There is the new Alienware that came on out at CES, the Alienware device, which is Dell's high-end laptop. If I'm going to buy a gaming laptop, I would buy only Alienware, but there isn't really anything new other than some new video adapters. But HP Dragonfly G4 is one of these creative units that we need to talk about. Now, essentially, it comes the first business laptop to facilitate the use of 2 cameras at once. The multi-camera software allows you to simultaneously stream one video of an object while the other camera stays on you. Auto Camera Select Intelligent AI helps you maintain eye contact by recognizing which camera you're facing. Built rugged to military specs and powered by a Windows 11 Pro, it runs the latest Intel 13th generation CPU with 32 gigs of RAM and integrated graphics with a solid state capability of 2 terabytes. So this has 2 cameras. So this is like the streamer's delight, right? So I could be presenting in a big meeting, picture on myself talking. And then if I want to be talking about an object, specifically something I'm wanting to sell, I can set it up on the secondary camera and it will stay there and move around and show the object and item I mean, this is like QVC all over this.
How does that do that when the cameras are stationary inside the?
Well, they have one camera on the very top of the unit itself, and they have a camera on the side.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So there's two different areas. So then it will know if you're looking directly at the camera or if you're looking at the side camera. And the AI, I'm sure, is probably not 100% perfect, but you would probably just train yourself to look at the top camera, have the side camera rotate, configure that to stay on your object so it'd stay there during the meeting itself.
So the side camera is sort of adjustable.
It is, yes. So it can move left and right, up and down, and the top one is your primary. All right, second laptop. Again, several laptop makers came to CES boasting that they have these new mini LED displays, but the Asus ROG Zephyrus G14 is among the smallest. It's a compact 14-inch laptop, which is considered already the best compact gaming laptop available, but it's now found a new vibrant mini LED screen that delivers over 600 nits of brightness and a refresh rate up to 165 hertz. So that is like most gaming computers. 60 hertz is like the standard that you need to have for your monitor to go. 128 is a great availability for a refresh rate, but this has 165 hertz. So that means if you're playing your Fortnite or whatever, it's going to make sure it keeps up with everything that you need to as you're streaming it. Now, it delivers top-tier hardware. It includes the AMD Ryzen 9 processor with the NVIDIA RTX 4090 series model. Now, how do you tell if an NVIDIA card is a good version? Do you know how you do this?
No, how do you do that?
All right, so the first number decides the model. So this is the NVIDIA RTX 4090. So the 40 is the model 40 version or the fourth version of this unit. Now, if they come out with a fifth version, it'll be a 50 unit. Then they rate it underneath there for 90 is the highest, 80, 70, 60, 50 on down are the speeds of the graphic compatibility after that. So if you look at a card.
You're geeking out right now.
Okay, am I geeking out too much? Well, if you ever buy an NVIDIA card and it says 3050 or you see 4070, the 4070 would be better because the last two digits are the most important.
Yeah, see, now I have to go home and see what I got.
Now you're kind of interested, aren't you? That's a little Nathan Nugget. That's a double Nathan Nugget. All right, there we go.
Double nugget.
All right. Then Asus will announce a pricing closer to the end of quarter 2023 of this brand new unit that will be available. And this will be considered the gamer's laptop that you do the competitive stuff because of the brightness. What is the one thing that we talk about?
Oh, it's always dark.
It's too dark, right? We played Sea of Thieves last night, right?
I'm always trying to adjust the gamma on certain things.
Yeah, so you always want it brighter, right? When it goes dark, you can't see what's going on. This will give you those dark brights, and it'll give you those dark blacks.
We're expecting something in the $2-3 range.
Yes, absolutely. Then we got the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i. Now, Lenovo has had this Yoga laptop series forever, and this is the wackiest. This is like a clamshell. So think of your old flip phone, right? But instead of having a keyboard, think of a big unit that's available. It's 13.3 inches, and both of these screens come in together, and they close, and they have plastic surrounding it. And then when you go to open up your computer, you open it up in the middle. You now have two screens. You can do them horizontal or vertical. Doesn't have a keyboard. You got to have your own external keyboard. Doesn't have a mouse, but it has all the guts inside this unit.
Essentially, this is just carrying around a screen.
A screen, like an old flip phone type version of it, because it flips in half.
A 24-inch screen.
That's exactly right, because you got both of them taken care of. Well, it also supports the 13th generation Core i7 series processor, and the 2-in-1 only weighs a hair over 3 pounds. So it's pretty light.
Pretty light.
It looks like a Frisbee. That's the only thing I thought of when I saw it. I'm like, oh, this is a Frisbee. If I had this on a desk and I saw this, whoop, you throw it across.
Is it called the Yoga because it?
So they've always had different. The Yoga is the I'm really crazy here,
really cool,
and Lenovo is going to decide to do crazy stuff. Yeah,
just chills out.
That's right. All right, well, now we're going to move on to cell phones. 2023 did not have tons of cell phones to present at CES because
cell phone fatigue.
That's right. Well, because you got the Galaxy S23 coming out this year, and the iPhone 15 are scheduled to be the big phones of the year, but CES still managed to have some crazy items to talk about. We're going to go back to Lenovo. Now we're talking about the Think Phone by Motorola. Instead of your typical glass sandwich, Lenovo chose a non-branded Kevlar back panel on top of a Gorilla Glass aircraft grade aluminum package. So this is a Kevlar based phone with Gorilla Glass and this aircraft aluminum. You're going to throw this thing on the ground and it will bounce back up and you're not going to notice anything of it. Then once you get a case for it,
a bullet.
Yeah, or stop. The bill is polished off with a diagonal brand, and it even has a red key that is specialized on the phone itself that you can program so it can do something different. Because that was kind of Lenovo ThinkPad always had the little ThinkPad
little
button.
Yeah,
that was always different than everybody else. Now you can still have that, so that it reminds you that you're still part of the ThinkPad family.
That seems a little excessive, but okay. Look, my little nib is on my phone.
Well, now we're going to be talking about Transformers next here. We got the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4.
These things aren't even huge in the market.
Well, I guess foldable phones are it, right? I mean, you see the commercial with the person in the subway and everybody's dancing with the flippable phone and they're taking a picture.
The scrolling phone and the scrolling screen.
Well, it has two 12 megapixel rear cameras. It's got a 10 megapixel front facing camera.
It's got 3 cameras. Huh?
3 cameras built into this. The handset also comes with a 3700 milliamp battery that essentially has a side mounted fingerprint scanner. So the side of the phone is the scanner of the phone for your fingerprint. And this is supposed to be the new clamshell market go-to phone. This is the one that's in the consumer level pricing point, which means all that means is it's $500 and less. So they consider consumers $509, $599 and below, and then they consider the pro consumer $1,100 and below.
Then this is basically the HP Dragonfly cooler, smaller model.
That's exactly right. In the cell phone model. That's right. Well, we're halfway done. We're going to head out to a commercial break. Still on the show, we have, of course, Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, our technology fail of the weekend. This week in technology, we're going to continue the Tech Time's best of the best CES 2003 laptops, phone, and displays after this, but we need to hit a commercial break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. We'll see you in a bit.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're looking back to January 29th, 1988. The computer game Tetris makes its first appearance in the United States as a PC game. The creator, Alexa Pajanov, is best known for designing and developing Tetris in 1984 while working for the Russian Academy of Science. The company that released the game was Spectrum Holobyte, which was questionably licensed with the rights of the game itself. When the companies became interested in licensing Tetris for other platforms besides the PC, a series of events kicked off a long legal battle in which the big winner was eventually Nintendo, who used the game Tetris to drive sales of its new Game Boy system platform. Do you remember that on the Game Boy?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like the big game that sold the Game Boy.
That's why I got the Game Boy, actually, was to play Tetris.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And Dr. Mario.
And Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario was like my
Tetris.
favorite. Oh, that was my favorite game of all of them. I love Dr. Mario. That was because you had the different colors and then you had the different items on there that you could rotate. That was
kind of like Tetris.
That was kind of like Tetris. That's right. Okay. All right. Well, did you know though that the creator of Tetris also created Weltris or Waltris, but it's Welltrs, Weltris, which is the same principle but a 3-dimensional environment where the player sees a playing area from above. Do you ever remember Tron, the video game?
Yeah.
They had the little hand deal that you do, and you'd have the kind of like this look down from the top view. Have you ever tried to play Tetris in a 3D environment?
No, but
No, it's
I'm sure
horrible.
that would be something that virtual world would really get involved in.
Yeah, it was
I
horrible.
think that would,
It was horrible. It was so difficult to do. You had to play some. And
well, yeah.
I
you have to think about depth perception and all kinds of things.
yeah, pass on that one. Let me stick with the Game Boy.
Dr. Mario, buddy.
That's right. There you go. Well, that was This Week
Throw
in
pills in it.
Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video, podcasts, and blog information? You can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us all the time. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have in studio Mark, who's going to do his Mark Mumble Whiskey review, our technology fail of the week, and our continuation of our CES 2023 Part 3. We'll see you after the break. TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry not being able to get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
I like that.
All right.
Okay, what do we got?
What's today, Mark?
Well, first off, hey, Nathan.
Yes?
What was one of your favorite beverages as a child?
Kool-Aid.
Dang.
Well, for most people, it's hot chocolate.
Oh,
January 31st is National Hot Chocolate Day, where almost no other drink brings this type of warmth to our life and taste buds quite like hot chocolate does, except maybe whiskey.
absolutely. I'll take a pass on hot chocolate. I'll go right through.
You're not a hot chocolate guy?
Not a really big. No, are you?
I do like it on occasion.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, after 2 weeks of Nathan choosing flavored whiskeys, I had to bring in a bottle. So
Well, thank
hopefully
you.
Mike will enjoy this one
Mhm.
after those other ones, those monstrosities.
Just because it's flavored whiskey doesn't mean it's horrible.
Well, let's talk about Bullet.
Okay.
According to Tom Bullitt, son of a preacher, great-great-grandson of the original creator Augustus Bullitt and developer of the modern brand, the first batch of Bullitt bourbon was made around 1830. Augustus continued to produce it until his death in 1860. The current recipe follows the original mash bill produced by Augustus Bullitt, which uses 2/3 corn and 1/3 rye. So it's a very high rye bourbon.
Okay.
Now, while regular Bullitt bourbon drinkers, this is a nice general mixing whiskey, but the barrel strength that we're drinking today can make a killer cocktail or drink it straight. This is a terrific barrel strength couch sipping bourbon. I know Mike likes that term, couch sipping, especially for the price of $49.95. It's nothing complex, but the simple flavors of the bourbon are just delicious. This has been my standard daily drinker for the last month. And as you can tell, we killed the bottle today.
So this is actually really good. I'm not a big Bullet fan, right? So I've tried the other 2 or 3 Bullets, and I have not found them the orange label one, and it was like, eh.
This one is really good once you get past the burn.
Once you get past the burn,
And
but once you let it sit out for a bit, it actually the burn is a little bit less as it
flavor.
aerates.
But it doesn't work well in coffee cups.
Okay. All right, continue on.
It's leaking out of my coffee cup.
Did it leak out of your coffee cup?
Yeah.
Well, pass it here. I'll finish it for you, Mike.
No, I'm done. I had to get rid of it so it wouldn't get all the way through.
There you go. All right. You know,
Of
I
my
haven't
coffee
seen
cup.
this Odie like this yet. I don't know. Look at that. There's I can't wait to hear that information. Well, Mark, is there anything else about this?
That's it for now.
I do need to figure out where this is, and I'm going to take a picture of this. We did post this online at techtimeradio.com underneath our Instagram deal. This is a very good Bullet bourbon. I will actually say I will probably buy some of this. This I could actually sip each and every night. And
this is something I would put in my bar.
In your bar, yeah. All
And
right.
like I said, for the price and availability, which is hard on some of the barrel strengths now, this one's easy to get.
All right, there you go. Perfect. All right, wine some more. Here I come. All right. Well, now that we got our whiskey out of the way from Mark, we're going to move on to continuing our Tech Times Best of the Best from CES laptops, phones, and displays. We're going to talk about displays, and then we're going to move on to our Super Bowl big game, because you can't call it Super Bowl unless you pay money for the Super Bowl title. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl TV steals and deals segment. We got a whole bunch of sales that are going on right now for people for television. If you bought a television last week, you're going to be sorry. I'll just tell you that. That's the video only kind of line. If you paid too much, you didn't buy a TV. This is the week too. There are TVs down to $79. We're going to talk about that. All right. Well, let's move on. Displays and TVs. We're going to talk about LG Meta. Now, at CES on the display floor, Meta was the the word that was at every other booth. Meta this, Meta this. So Meta does not mean Facebook, right? So Meta is this whole encompassing idea of virtual reality, of this meta universe
that Facebook used to be.
So
now it's just a division of Meta.
Well, so right? But the LG is completely different. So this is not anything to do. They said, please do not confuse this with Facebook's parent company, Meta, because their technology, the LG Meta, is essentially a 60% brighter OLED technology for all their TVs. And the LG Meta TV line, which has not come on out yet, but will be LG's flagship displays that you can get, essentially will have a peak brightness of 2100 nits, which is, it used to be luminous, but now they moved it up to nits, is essentially the new way of seeing a brightness on a screen itself. And this is almost 1500 higher than the laptop we were just talking about, having a great OLED screen. So this is going to be bright beyond bright. This will light up a room like a spotlight when you're actually watching.
I can get one of these just to
light your whole house,
just to save money on light bulbs.
That's right. Well, LG plans to bring the Meta panels and its TVs in the future, but has no firm plans yet, besides the announcement that they are working on this.
I feel like there's going to be a lawsuit here at some point.
What, with the Meta name?
With the Meta thing.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. All right, well, Samsung, who is probably, again, Samsung and LG are fighting for the best televisions on the market. LG kind of holds the upper hand right now. Samsung is right there in second place, in my opinion. They reveal a massive 57-inch Odyssey Neo G9 gaming monitor from CES 2023. So essentially, this is two ultra high definition resolution screens in one monitor. The biggest new entry is Samsung's NG gaming PC monitor. This curved 57-inch display. So this is a monitor to play games on. This is not
this is 1 inch bigger than my TV.
Okay, so 57-inch, and it's curved. So it goes around. It has an 8K 7680 by 2160 resolution screen with a 32.9 aspect ratio. This means owners will get the equivalent of two Ultra HD screens on one display to play your video games. Now, there's only 2 or 3 video cards that even support this display. So you're going to have to be getting your high-end NVIDIA
4090.
Well, you need a 5090 to actually get the ability to play this. So the LG series also has their new M3 series, which is their OLEDs, which wowed everybody at CES. They had a huge 97-inch diagonal size display. LG's biggest call at the show was their Zero Connect box that they're touting, which essentially makes it wireless. Zero Connection allows you to connect all your components to a box. This is kind of like the other displaced monitor that we talked about in the Oddity Gadgets last week. But essentially, this is a receiver that allows you to hook up your soundbar, your streaming boxes, your game consoles, and the only thing you have is essentially one cable to plug your TV into with no other dangling cables.
Oh, that's nice.
So essentially, you plug this in, you put in your HDMI, and it says that it runs at no lag, no difference on the wireless beam that sends audio and video signals to the television. I just don't know if I want to really be having that box in between me and the game unit I'm playing there.
What's the point of saying it's 97-inch diagonal? What's the point of that?
Well, it's because sometimes people say they're displays, and the way you actually are supposed to truly measure a display is from one corner of the viewable area that you can see to the other area to come up with your actual size. Sometimes people say 55 inches, and it's really only like 52 inches if you measure it. So they were saying that they actually come in at 97 inches from corner to corner to say that they're the right size. All right. Well, now we're going to move into our Super Bowl deals and steals.
Now it's time for Tech Time's Steal and Deals. Listen for the steal of the week.
All right, our Super Bowl TV deals. We're going to get right into it. Right now, have you ever heard of the company TCL? I have not until I started doing some research on this. They make a 75-inch 4K Google TV that is available right now at Best Buy. It was last week $699, $539 right now. So you can have a 75-inch television from Best Buy, $539. This is one of the best big screen Super Bowl TV deals that I have ever seen. Best Buy has the 75-inch 4K Google TV on sale right now. The lowest price. You can't find it on Amazon, no place else. It has 3 HDMI ports, and this is kind of important because you only have 2 on your television, right?
2, yeah.
And that kind of limits you sometimes, right? So this has 3.
Splitter.
This has 3 HDMI ports built into it, available right now at Best Buy, $539. Now we're going to move down from the 70 and 85-inch televisions down into the smaller size, the 55 and 65-inch televisions.
That's funny because
what's that?
I have a 56-inch.
You have a 56, and it's pretty freaking big, right?
It's big, and I never thought in my lifetime I would ever say, well, that's small.
Well, here you go. So let me tell you about the 55-inch 4K Roku TV. It was $379. It's now $268 at Walmart. If you want a 4K TV, you want the cheapest on the market, you're going to have to go to Walmart and fast, as they're having the 4K Roku TV on sale right now for $268. This features HDR10 support, Dolby Audio, Apple AirPlay HomeKit, Hey Google capability, and voice remote. Now, if you want to get essentially probably what I would say the best 65-inch out there, it's the LG 83 series. This essentially has a refresh rate of 120 hertz, HDMI 2.1 support, so it's a great game for console individuals. Right now, it's $700 off. Just this week, it dropped $700 at Best Buy. It was regularly $16.99, now $99 available. It's the LG 65-inch 83 series QLED for $999.
Oh, okay.
Now we're going to go cheap. Here we go. We're going to move down. But listen, this is a 50-inch or less. This essentially is a smart TV sale available right now on Amazon. Amazon Fire TVs give you access to Prime Video so that Amazon can listen to everything you say, Netflix, Disney Plus, and much more. Fire TVs also come with the Alexa voice remote, which lets you operate the TV. Now, these cheaper models are only 720p, which is considered the very first HD standard. So it's not quite very high resolution. So that's pretty kind of low. But if you wanted to get yourself a 50-plus inch television that you have is 50 inches on the nose for $79, you can do it right now at Amazon.
You know, if you ask Alexa if she's listening to you,
yeah,
she will tell you a whole spiel about
their privacy. Their privacy.
Amazon protects your security.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Now, do you ever remember Pioneer TVs? Last TV.
Oh, yeah.
This is the steal. This is the steal of the week right here. This is the steal. Pioneer is back. So Pioneer's been out of the TV industry for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a Pioneer 3-tube TV.
You used to have a Pioneer stereo.
Okay, so Pioneer used to be the name. Essentially, right now at Amazon for $209, you can get the 43-inch 4K Fire TV that, again, has Dolby Vision support. It's a total 4K TV. It is the cheapest 4K TV around, $209 on Amazon. It's a Pioneer 43-inch 4K Fire TV. That is your steal of the week right now for $209.
The $79 one was a steal.
Well, that's only 720p. This is still 4K. So you get the 4K for that price here. That ends our steals and deals. Right now, we're going to now move into our technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Well, this week's technology fail comes to us from Microsoft. Microsoft services have recovered after tens of thousands of users reported its products, including Microsoft Outlook and Teams, had stopped working last week. The company tweeted that it was impacted services have been restored and remain stable. Down Detector, which is a website that tracks outages, showed that dwindling numbers of users reported the problems. Microsoft blamed the outage on a change that it made in its wide area network, which has now been resolved.
Where did this happen?
So this happened this happened Thursday and Friday of last week.
That was when it happened, but I didn't experience any shortages or outages.
Neither did I. Neither did most of the people. So this was a big impact, essentially because it was Xbox Live users and Microsoft Team users on the East Coast. So if you're in the East Coast servers, regional area, you would have had a problem logging into Xbox.
I didn't have any problems last week.
You know what helps having Microsoft in Redmond?
Yeah, I'm sure. I used to live next to a FEMA station, and we never had to worry about power outages.
That's exactly. It makes it a little bit easier when their primary headquarters is local. They make sure they keep their stuff running here.
There you go.
All right, well, that was our technology fail of the week. We are now going to head to our last commercial break. When we return, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment brought to us by Story Coffee and a possible Nathan Nugget. Sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to TechTime Radio. We'll see you after the break.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com. All right, Mike, here's what we got.
Storycoffee.com.
A mental health app called Wiza is a chatbot-only service that is free. Now, it does offer telehealth therapy services, and essentially this is for humans ranging from $15 to $30 a week. But this is a chatbot that is essentially taking care of your personal feelings, and it is actually being used to help people with therapy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this?
I have some serious problems with these kind of things.
Okay, well, and what's that?
Well, the problems here, and this is where it gets dangerous. Okay, so it talks about how this computer analyzes words and phrases, and then it delivers supportive messages.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That have been pre-written by a psychologist. So,
that is correct. So they're like pre-canned up there.
Yeah. The problem here is that humans form a para relationship with things like this.
Okay.
Meaning it's not a real relationship with a real person who can really understand what's going on. So essentially it is fooling somebody into thinking that it's empathic when it's actually not empathic. Okay. So it's creating this is moving into a realm where it's creating a relationship with a person that the person can start to think is real.
Does that happen to people when they are on those chat boxes?
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Okay.
We form pair relationships with things all the time. Like your pet.
Yeah, my
your
little Luna,
robot.
My
pet.
Luna, my little dog.
Yeah, your robot pet, your Alexa. I say thank you to Alexa when she gives me a thing.
Okay.
That's a version of a pair relationship. Okay. But the problem here is that this lures a person into thinking it's more real, or like the Google engineer that we talked about
the sentient life
ago, that this may be a sentient thing, and it's not. So it's using these pre-programmed responses, and if somebody can get something out of that, that's one thing. But the point is that they start to have this pair relationship, and then they start to exclude other relationships outside of it.
Okay.
So it creates a sort of a false reality here in which this person is describing feelings and things, which doesn't actually get an empathic response or really a healing type of situation.
Would you recommend this for anybody to use it?
I wouldn't. Nope.
You say just talk to a psychologist instead?
Yeah, if you need some help there, go to a live person.
Okay. So there's something that AI bots still are not able to quite do.
Yeah, I don't think we should be using AI for this kind of thing. It's not human in the first place.
That makes sense.
So,
all right. Well, now I think we need to move to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, Mark, what was this again? What was the whiskey?
Bullet Bourbon Barrel Strength.
All right, I give it a thumbs up. Absolutely fantastic. What do you think?
Oh, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. What would you think, Mike? Thumbs up, Mark. What did you think?
Well, it's been my daily drinker for the last month.
Mark,
so yes,
obviously,
I love it.
Like, no, I hate it.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining our show.
Bye-bye.
On TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.